What's going on, folks? It's Larry at Packmaster Dog Training here. For all my dog trainer friends out there, let's talk again about how we could do things to make the transition back to the owner a little better and a little easier, okay? Let's face it, when we hand the dog off back to the owners after doing a board and train, whether you do a 2-week, 3-week, month-long, it doesn't matter. One of the most difficult things we have to do is how to transfer that information over to the owner. Okay, and what I've learned over the years is the more simple you keep it, the more likely people are to follow through. No dog owner, it's very rare, is going to go outside and train their dog for 30 minutes at a time, 60 minutes at a time. If they do, it's not going to last long. So you have to give them the kind of information that they can implement into their everyday lifestyle without even really knowing they're doing anything. But at the same time, they're improving their relationship and their handling skills with their dog little by little. So what I do when I hand a dog off, that day of the pickup, when the owner picks up the dog, I keep it very, very simple, very, very basic, because people get overwhelmed. You have to remember, they are not dog trainers. They are regular dog owners. And so, 90% of what you say is going to be forgotten before they get home. So I keep it very simple. We spend an hour or two working, going over basics, okay? All my dogs are e-collar trained, so we go over the function of the e-collar. I put them through a lot of hands-on training at the moment. I make sure they're comfortable and they're doing everything right before they leave. But one very simple thing they can do when they get home, the other day we talked about the walk, even if you only have 15 minutes, right? We talked about breaking it up into 3 categories: the structured walk, the play, and obedience. Another very simple thing that is tremendously beneficial, and not only for dog owners, but I do this when I have a dog staying with me, all right? If people aren't going to follow through and take their dogs for walks and set aside time to train, everyone has to let their dog outside to go to the bathroom, right? 4 times a day, 5 times a day, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. So what I ask of people is, at this point, the dog is very well versed in the e-collar training. We are full-blown in the intermittent phase. Now, for you, those of you that don't remember or don't know, the intermittent phase is where we're using 4 different combinations in the training, okay? We're not using the e-collar every time. We're not using food rewards every time. This is where we start weaning the dog away from needing the tool or reward, all right? So again, for anyone who doesn't remember, the 4 combinations that we use are: we give the command with the e-collar and with a reward. Then the next combination is e-collar, no reward, okay? Then we have no e-collar with a reward. And then we have no reward, no tools, no e-collar, no nothing, right? The dog just does it. So 4 different combinations. So something that has tremendous, tremendous, tremendous benefits of doing for anyone. So whether you're a dog trainer doing a board and train or a dog owner, is what I ask people to do is, when they take their dog outside to go to the bathroom, right? It's going to be 4 or 5 times a day, at least usually. What I ask them to do is, I say, pick one command that your dog knows. It could be sit, down, place, come, heel, whatever it is. Pick one very basic command that your dog has to know, and I want you to work that command through all 4 combinations. That's it. Every time you take the dog out, or every other time you take the dog out. So for example, if we pick the place command, okay, before they let that dog go to the bathroom, I want you to work the place command going through those 4 combinations, okay, with the e-collar, with reward, going through the whole thing again, and then release your dog. And dog training is a lot like financial investing. You wouldn't believe how much just putting a little bit in, how it grows over time. And if you do that, a couple times a day, and like I said, 1 command, you won't believe the benefits it has, because I do it with a board and train. So even if I'm not taking the dog out to train, I'll do that before they go to the bathroom, and that adds up. In 3 weeks, that adds up a great deal, okay? And one other thing, we mentioned the place command, guys. There's a lot of misconceptions, or at least people use this in a different way. A lot of people use the place command just as boundary training, okay? They put the dog in a place and they'll keep it there for long periods of time. I don't do that. My dogs don't stay on a place for extended periods. They're not confined to a place inside the house. What a lot of trainers fail to understand is the place command is the foundation of a lot of other things that you can teach. A lot of more advanced obedience can be used off of the place command. For example, to send the dog away from far distances for further like competitive obedience type things, to have a place, anything next to you as a target for the dog to hit with a target, working on competition style heeling, all those things. Okay, a lot of different more advanced obedience start off with the place command. So I don't use it as a confinement tool. I know a lot of people do, but I just wanted to add that in there. So again, for my dog trainers out there, when you send a dog home, give that little tidbit of advice there to your dog owners, because they have to have things that they're willing to do. Okay, if it's too much, they're not going to do it. They're not going to follow through, and then the dog stops progressing. Doing something this simple, the dog will constantly make advances. But because here's the deal: the dog's already in a good place after 3 weeks when he lives here. He knows all these commands. He's full blown in the intermittent phase. It's not for the dog. It's more for the owner, and to build that relationship and that connection between the owner and the dog. Because it doesn't matter how much you do for the dog. If you send it back to the owner and then, you know, they just don't do anything, it doesn't matter what you do. That's going to go away. It's not permanent. You don't take a dog in 3 weeks or 4 weeks and make permanent, everlasting change. It doesn't work that way. So there has to be that connection between owner and dog. And that's a very, very simple way, but an extremely, extremely beneficial way that really pays high dividends. All right? Pass that along. Peace.